Hello friends, welcome to my another lecture on Introduction to Algorithm, and in this particular lecture we are going to discuss about algorithm specification. This lecture series specifically I am preparing for the subject of design and analysis of algorithms of many of the universities, and if you want to watch my first video, the introductory video on algorithms, the definition and the process of creating the algorithm. In that case, you can go to my previous video, and the link is provided below. So, dear friends, let us move ahead. Then the topic here that we are going to discuss is the algorithm specification. So, what is an algorithm specification, and what are the things we need to take care whenever we are writing an algorithm? These are all the things that we need to take care about. First thing is, how do we in an algorithm, how do we represent the comment lines? So generally, as in the programming language, here also we are representing the comment lines by using double slash or by using the slash star and ending with star slash. If you want to write a block of code or a body of a procedure or a body of an algorithm, it starts with the opening brace and it ends with a closing brace, and in between them there can be the single or multiple lines. Next one is how to define an identifier. So identifier is defined as anything which starts with capital A to Z or small a to Z, or and then followed by so initially this is a must, and after that this is optional. So after that it can be many small letters, it can be many capital letters, there can be many digits, okay, and underscore symbol is also there, and multiple repetition of that, so that is represented by star here. Then assignment of the values is sometimes shown something like this, or where there are two double colons and two equal to. In the algorithms you can also represent the assignment operations by using colon and equal to or equal to also. Boolean values are here, they are not 0 or 1, they are just true or false. So it is true or false, it's not off, it is or. Then output depends on logical operators, that is the logical operators are less than equal to, greater than equal to. Double equal to is for comparison between two values, and not equal to. So example 10 greater than 5 returns true, whereas 10 less than 5 returns false. Okay, moving ahead, how do we declare the array in the algorithm? Now we are discussing this one as per the algorithm perspective. So how does this is done in the algorithm perspective is, how do we declare one dimensional array is a of I? We declare two dimensional array as a of ij or aij, okay, as we discussed in as we do it in the programming languages. This is a programming language, or even you can define it in this way also. The third one is three-dimensional array a of ijk or a of ijk. This is the programming language way, so you can use any of these two. Input and output. While writing the algorithm, we use the read command. For example, I say that read x, so I want to read here x, the value of x, and for output purpose I use a term called as write x, okay, wherein I want to produce the output x. So moving ahead, how does the looping statements are represented in the algorithms is if it is a while condition, in that case while the condition you are writing here the conditions. For example, while you say that a is greater than b 2, okay, so something like that. Then there is a block, as I have told you in the previous lecture, and then the end statements are written inside that. The for loop is written as for variable is equal to initialization to the last value. So here I am not writing it as for I is equal to 1, I is less than n, I plus something like that. For in case of algorithm, what I am doing is what is the initial value and up to what I want to do, okay. Step do, it is step do. Now if you want to do it in the reverse order, so I minus mar or something, at that time you have to say that step down, so you have to go on increasing. So step do is for increasing order, step down is for the decreasing order of the values. Then there is a block, and inside the block there is a you can say statements. Then repeat until is one programming statement that is that can be used for while declaring the algorithm. So repeat, then statement number 1, statement number, until this particular condition is not true. Until this condition is not true. So if it is false, it is going to be repeated. Okay. Do while loop is this is going to be executed until this is true. This is going to be executed. This is false, it is not going to be executed. This is reverse of that. So until this condition is false, this repeat until will execute. Once it is true, it will come out of this one. Okay. So that's the difference between do while and repeat until. Moving ahead, the loop using while loop. So if you want to do a while loop, then variable initialization variable, then the final variable and incremental step. Okay. So incremental step is, let us say, variable initialization variable is equal to I is equal to 1, and finally variable is equal to n, let us say f is equal to n. So incremental step can be I is equal to I plus 1, or it can be I is equal to I plus 2, so or anything. So in what way you are increasing it. So while variable minus final variable. So this while I am doing this at that time, step. So you can take any number of step is less than or equal to 0, do, that is go on executing the instructions. For example, you can write here while, okay, I is less than n, and then you can write here, so whatever the statement you want to execute. Okay. And then the step value, all that things are to be given that should be declared here or defined here. So here it is variable is equal to variable plus incr, that is being done. So that is the incr value, that is the step value. Okay. This is about the while loop. Let us see about the conditional statement. There are as there are looping statement, there are some conditional statement. So which are all the conditional statements are? The conditional statement is, there is one statement that is called as if statement. Okay. So the format of if statement is if condition then statement. Okay. Or it can also be, so here it is not a if, actually this if is here. So if condition then statement else statement 1. If your logic is something like with one condition you want to execute one instruction I, and with second, if this condition is not true, in that case you want to execute jth instruction, in that case the second one can be used. Okay. We can also employ, there is another one, switch case you can use. So case can be used, and wherein you have multiple options, and you can make use of all these multiple options. For example, if case is equal to 1 Sunday, if case is equal to 2 Monday, if case is equal to 3 Tuesday. So day number, if I am giving input, at the time you want to print what is the day. So in that case that can be done. And finally, if I say that day number 8, it should say that no, it is not a proper way. So condition n and else statement. Okay. So this is about the switch statement. Moving ahead, let us discuss about algorithm body. So algorithm body means how does the algorithm is written, and how does it is represented. So algorithm body is, algorithm starts with the algorithm name. There is going to be an algorithm name to it, and what are the parameters that algorithm is taking, and there is a inside there will be opening brace, there will be a closing brace, and inside this there will be the actual algorithm, particular algorithm. Okay. Then there is, this is very much important, there is only one type of procedure, that is algorithm. Okay. An algorithm consists of a heading and a body. So what does algorithm consist of is, this is called as heading, and this is called a, remaining part is called as body. Okay. Moving ahead, algorithm, and let us consider an example. So this algorithm, let us say I am writing for finding a maximum among n numbers, and let us say that we are using some linear some max algorithm. So algorithm name, so algorithm name is max, and these are the parameters. So as per the previous definition, this is name of the algorithm. Okay. And these are the parameters, these two are the parameters. Okay. Then let us say this is the algorithm body then. So starting from opening brace to the closing brace is the body. So result is equal to a of 1. Let us say a is an array. A is an array of size 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 2, let us say. then result is equal to max. So you can say here, you might have written max is equal to a of 1. So max will be a of 1, max will be 1. Then for I is equal to 2 to n, I am going to compare this one with all the other values. Then if a of I is greater than result, so a of I, now a of I is 4, 4 is greater than result, it is true. So at that time max is equal to, I am going to replace the value of max instead of max, let us say result only. So result is equal to a of I. So now previously it was 1, now it will become 4. Next time I is equal to 3 and it will be compared with 7. So 7 is again greater than 4. So result is equal to, now result will be 4 will be replaced by 7. 3, next I will be incremented by 1, and now a of 4 will be compared with maximum value. So since maximum value is maximum, this new value is not maximum. In that case, this will remain as maximum only. And finally 2 will remain as 2 is the smaller than current maximum value. So compare maximum value and 2, whichever is maximum will remain maximum as it is. And finally, see here, this if block, this for block is for these three statements. Once everything is done, result will be written as 7. So maximum value is equal to 7. Okay, so this is an example of algorithm how to find out the maximum value among n numbers. Moving ahead, how to represent the core part of the algorithm. So if it is a selection sort, generally people do not write about what is the algorithm and algorithm name. Whenever you want to solve a problem, at that time you directly want to the core part. So for example, if my problem is sorting an array, so while writing the algorithm, I may not write the declaration statement, I may not write the reading how the values are read. I want to write the core part of it, and this is called as a core part of it. So the algorithm, so now here this is called as the macro algorithm. This is called as a macro algorithm. That is the you can say higher level view of the algorithm. So it is just written in the English type like of statement. So examine a of I to a of n. That means that, let us say, find out if you want to sort the array of size let us say n. So let us say this is the first position I and this is the second position n. So examine the values in a of I to a of n, and suppose the smallest element is at a of j, interchange a of I and a of j. So let us say this is j. So if the smallest element is here, so we have to examine in every location, and if we have to find out there which is the smallest element. Let us say this is the smallest element x. So now what we have to do is this smallest element is to be brought to first location, and then what we have to do is we have to do the same process for the remaining elements. So now again I is this now. Okay, this is n. From I to n, find out the smallest element and put it here. So this will be y, let us say. Then from in the third pass, in this area, that is this is I and this is n, find out the smallest value and put it here, and so on. It will be continued. Okay, when it run for n passes, at that time all the elements will be at the appropriate position such that the array is sorted. Okay, so if that is happening, so see here it is given, examine the elements a of I to a of n, and suppose the smallest element is a of j, then interchange a of I with a of j. A of I is the smallest index, a of j is the largest index. Okay, so let us move ahead. This is the more generalized algorithm of this is the more generalized algorithm of selection sort. So in the selection sort, you can see here now I am writing it properly. Core part is done, and then I am writing it properly. Again, here I am not declaring, here I am not reading the values. I am just again interested. I am writing the core part here only, but in the pseudocode. This is called as a pseudocode. The previous one is called as a higher level view. This is called as a higher level view or macro view of the algorithm, and this is called as a pseudocode, and this is also called as a low level view, or it is also called as a micro level view. So very near we are saying it at very near, and this can be directly converted. Why I am saying that low level views, I can directly convert this one to a program. Okay, whereas this one is somewhat difficult to convert into the program, but this one is easy to understand for a non-programmer also. And this one is it may be not easy to understand for a non-programmer, but this one will be very easy to convert this one to directly a program. Okay, so what is being done here is, here let us discuss about. So let us say there is an array of size 5. So there are let us say 5 elements. So these are the 5 elements. Then what I am doing is, for this is j is equal to I. Okay, for I is equal to 1, now I is pointing here, and this is n, I is equal to 1 to n. What I am doing is j is equal to I, so j is pointing here. Okay, this is j. Then what I am doing is, for k is equal to I plus 1, so k is going to be point to I plus 1 location. Since I and j are initially they are positioning to the same position, k is equal to I plus 1, that is positioning here. And then I am going to move this k from I plus 1 to n. Up to this I am going to move. And in that, what I am doing is, if a of k is less than a of j, so a of k is less than a of j, what I am going to do is j is equal to k. That is, j is going to be the index which holds the smallest value. So let us check here for the first iteration. A of k is less than a of j. So this is not true. This is not true means this is not going to happen. Okay, j will remain here only, and in the next iteration, what is going to happen is k is equal to k plus 1. That is, now k is not here, k is here now. Okay, now this is k now. Now a of k and a of j is compared. What you find is, again, this is the smallest one. See here, this is the smallest one, because this is greater. So no exchange is going to happen, and k is moved by 1. So k is equal to k plus 1. Next time, a of k is smaller than a of I. So in that case, what is going to happen is, j is equal to k. That is, whatever the j that is pointing here initially, now j will start pointing here. Okay, and in the next iteration, k is equal to k plus 1. So now k is here. And then again compare a of k and a of j. A of k and a of j, whichever is the smaller. So if it is a smaller, now this one is a smaller than this one. So in that case, what we have to do is, again we have to replace the value j is equal to k. So I have to bring this j at this particular position, and at the end, this is the end of the first iteration. At the end of each iteration, what we have to do is, we have to exchange the value of a of I with a of j. So a of I is 5, ith position is 1, and it contains value 5, and a of j contains the value 2. Now what will happen is, when I exchange this one, what happens is, so this array takes this one. So 2, 7, 6, 4, all other element will remain at their position only. Only the value of a of I and a of j are going to be exchanged. So what has happened here is, the smallest position is the smallest value is at the first position. Now what is being done is, now at the second iteration, I will become 2. So now I is here. When I is here, so the iteration says that j is equal to I, that is, j is going to point here, and k is here. In the second, this is in the second iteration. In the second iteration, I and j will be at the second position. With the first position, it's over now. First smallest value is there. Now I is here, and j is here, and k is at the I plus 1 position. So k is here. Then what we are going to do is, we are going to move k in such a way that we get the smallest element. So here 6 is less than 7. So what will happen is, j is here. Okay, 7th, because I want to bring the smallest element. So out of these two, smallest element is 6. So j will be here. Again k will be moved by 1, and k, the position at k, the value at k is 4, and the value of j at j is 6. So again, value at k is smaller, so j will come here. So this is happening over here. Okay, and then finally after the second iteration, what I get is, I get an array something like this: 2, 4, 6, 7, and 5. Similarly, if I continue this for another two iterations, I will get 2, 4, then 5, 7, and 6, and finally I will get it as 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, something like this. So this is how this particular selection sort is working. So this is This is more abstract. This is the proper pseudocode is given over here. So this is the way in which we write the we are going to discuss the algorithms. Okay, and it is going to be very easy to convert this algorithm to the program. One thing that is noticeable here, if you would have written any program at that time, you might have written the selection sort, and at that time you might have written the program in this way: for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, whereas here I am writing for I is equal to 1, I am starting from 1 because it is the algorithmic way. Okay, because I understand that this is the first position, but for the memory it starts from 0. That's the reason that we are writing it in this way. Moving ahead, so let us see how does this work. So in the first pass, so see here, this is I, this is I, okay, this is the position I, and the same is the position j, and this is k. Now what will be done is, so jth value is compared with kth value. So when we find that kth value is smaller than jth value, what we do is we bring j is equal to k. So j is here and k is equal to k plus 1. K will be moved here now. So k will move to the next position due to that for loop. Now whichever is smaller, now since k is again smaller, so j will be there. So now in the next I is here only. Now I is here only, and in the next iteration j will come here. Okay, and k will move one position ahead. So now j and k is not smaller now, so j will remain at the smallest position only. Then k will move by 1, so k will come here. So what you will find is k is now lesser than jth position, and so j will come at the kth position. Now k is over, all the elements are taken now. Now there is no element remaining. Now what will happen is, now a of I and a of j values are exchanged with each other. 2 will come at the ith position, that is 2 will come here, and this 20 will come at the last position, that is 20 is here. So that's how the insertion sort is working, and then later on the next pass will be applied to this part only, wherein 12 is the ith position, and then 12 will be compared with 10, then j will be here, j will be always at the smallest position, then k will be here, so 10 will be compared with 15, but 15 is larger, nothing will happen, j will remain here only, and then k will be here, 10 and 20 will be compared, and finally 10 will remain the smallest one, and then finally jth element and ith element are exchanged with each other. So 10 will come here after the second pass, and 12 will come here, and third pass will be only for the elements which starts from third position. Fourth pass will be for elements which starts with fourth position. Fifth pass will be the elements which starts from fifth position, and it will continue up to n. Okay, so this is how the one example I have given. There is another type of algorithm. The first type of algorithm that we discussed here is called as iterative algorithm. So iterative algorithm has some properties that we are going to discuss in the later on lectures. There is another type of algorithm, they are called as recursive algorithm. So recursion is, you might have written some recursive equations. For example, factorial of n is equal to n into factorial of n minus 1. So that is n factorial is equal to n into n minus 1 factorial. This is the recursive definition of factorial. We say that this is a recursive definition. I am defining factorial in terms of factorial only now. Okay, you sometimes write it as 9n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into so on up to 1. What is this n minus 1 into n minus 2? It is n minus 1 factorial. So we are defining factorial of n in terms of factorial only. Okay, n into factorial of n minus 1 now. So this type of functions or this type of definition are called as recursive definitions or recursive, the algorithms that we write in this way. And so there will be some algorithms. So what I am doing in that algorithm is, let us say I am writing algorithm 1, and it has some body, and in this algorithm 1, if I calling the same algorithm 1 calls itself. This is called as a recursive algorithm, and this type of recursion is called as direct recursion. This is called as direct recursion. Whereas there are another type of recursions, there is an algorithm 1 calls another algorithm 2, and later on this algorithm 2 calls the algorithm A1. So A1 calls A2, A2 calls A1. This is called as indirect algorithm. Similarly, the indirect algorithm can be A1 calls A2, A2 calls A3, A3 calls A4, and A4 calls so on up to AN, and AN calls A1. This is also a indirect algorithm. Now These indirect algorithms are somewhat difficult to understand, but these are again utilizing more amount of memory. These are utilizing more time. We will see the time complexity of these algorithms, but these algorithms are able to easily implement the complex problem. This is one thing, and these algorithms are easy to analyze. So there are two reasons. For these two reasons, we need to study about the algorithms. Okay, recursive algorithms. So moving ahead, let us go ahead and let us try to discuss an algorithm on towers of Hanoi. So what is this towers of Hanoi? Is this 1 minute. So in the era of Brahma Rachel, there was a problem. The problem was called as towers of Hanoi, and what is the problem was, so this Brahma Rachel, what they wanted to do is, they wanted to there was a tower, there are 3 towers rather. So in one tower there are some plates on one tower, and these plates are arranged in their descending order of the sizes. That means that the bottomest plate was the largest, above that was the second largest, and it continued, and the plate at the top is the smallest plate in the size. Okay. Now what they wanted to do is, they wanted to move all these plates from the tower number A to tower number B by using tower number C as a backup tower. Okay. Why to use tower number C as a backup tower is, they cannot move the plates from one location to another location in a way that the larger plate should come below smaller plate. This is compulsory. So in that case, if they will move this smaller plate here, so in that case the larger than this they cannot move over this, because this is the smallest and a larger cannot come over this. So that's the reason that they can utilize the tower number C to bring all the top n-1 plates to tower number C, and then bring this largest plate onto the tower number B, and then remaining n-1 plates from C to B by using A as a extra tower now. Okay, this is the way how they wanted to solve it. And what is being done here, how the solution can be found out is, I want to send the largest tower from the largest plate from A to B by using C as a you can say extra tower. Okay. So in that case, what I am going to do is, the top n-1 plates I am moving them from A to C, and the largest plate I am moving it from A to B, and remaining towers which are remaining plates which are at C, I want to bring them above B, but again they can be multiple plates, and again the same constraint will come. For that purpose, again I can make use of the tower A. Okay, so this is the way how they found out the solution to this, the recursive way they have used. So this is the algorithm they have used, and this works well with this. So algorithm towers of Hanoi, and n is a number of plates, x is a plate where the actual plates are currently there. Okay, and y is a tower where I want to move these plates, all these plates in the same order, and z is a tower which can be used for moving purpose. This is a extra tower available, or you can say this one is like backup tower. Okay, so you can use that one. So what is being done? So n number of plates are to be transferred from x to y by using z as a backup tower. Okay, so move the top n disks from, the problem is move the top n disks from tower x to tower y by utilizing tower z. Okay, so if n is greater than or equal to 1, if n is 1, let us assume that number of plate is only 1, so that can be directly transferred from tower number x to y. Okay, there is no problem. So if if n is greater than 1, this should be n is greater than 1. Towers of Hanoi. So what now I have to do is, I have to move all the towers in the sense, on a first tower, on X tower I have n plates. Out of this I want to move n-1 plates from this tower A to tower C. That's I am doing here. Move n-1 plates from tower x, so I'm sorry, here it is x, y and z. So now what I want to do is these n minus 1 plates I want to move from tower x to z. Previously the problem was x to y, but n plates. But first what I'll do, I'll move n minus 1 tower plates from x to z by using plate y. Okay, now this is the backup tower with me. Once it is done, what I will do is I will move the top disk from tower x to top of the tower y. So if I move all these above towers to, let us say, z, what is remaining? Remaining is the largest tower, and that largest tower I can bring here. This statement is the same thing is doing. And once it is done, now what I want to do is whatever the remaining plates are there on the tower number z, what I want to do is I want to bring them back to y now by using a. So that is tower of I, whatever the plates they are there on the tower z, I want to move them to on the tower y by using the backup tower as x now. Okay, so this is how, if you will implement this, you'll get the result. Okay, so this is the power of algorithms, power of recursive algorithms. Okay, these are easy, these are difficult to understand, but these can solve the very difficult problems. Okay, the last problem that we are going to discuss in this particular session is a permutation generation. So if there is one variable, the permutation to that is only a. If there are two variables, then the permutation is a b and b a. If there are three variables, then the permutations are these are the permutations possible: a followed by bc, a followed by bc. So their permutation: b followed by ac, b followed by ac, c followed by ab, and c followed by ba. There are 6 permutation. Okay, so if I can write an algorithm to find out the permutation of single element, the same permutation can be used to find out the permutation of 2 elements. If I have a way to find out the permutation of 2 elements, the same can be. So if there are 3 elements, after A 2 permutations, after B 2 permutations, remaining 2, after C remaining 2. Similarly for the 4. Similarly for the 4 is, this is the way. So that is A is followed by BCD, B is followed by ACD, C is followed by ABD, and D is followed by ABC. So in this way we can solve the problems. So this is, I am not writing the code for this, I am not discussing the code for this. My intention here was to discuss the how does we can solve a problem. So this is the way I have shown you in the last this one, that is the permutation generation. So that's up from my side, and now our next lecture will be on performance analysis. I'll upload this one shortly onto the YouTube. So how was your experience with this lecture? You can comment me, and you can also, if with your doubt, you can also contact me. So my phone number is 9975 419483, and my email address is this one. And really, if you liked the video at that time, you can subscribe this, you can share this to your friends who are learning computer algorithms. We are going to discuss very good examples on computer algorithms, and basically this course I am preparing for third year students of engineering, computer engineering and information technology engineering, and it is also useful for MCA. It is also useful for MTech and ME courses. So you can share this one to your friends. If you have liked the video, what you can do is you can subscribe it, you can share it. You can also subscribe to you can also press that bell button so that you will get notified whenever I create a new video. So with this, I must thank you all for listening my complete video. Thank you.